Hi there everyone, and welcome back to Richard's Toy Room and to another episode of Richard's Record Roundup. A little different this time. I'm not going to appear on camera. No particular reason. I just wanted to get this video shot. So this episode is going to be all male vocalists from, I'm thinking, the 50s to I think the 70s. Anyway, these are not really in any particular order. They're, well, I believe they're in order of release. For example, the last one that you're going to see was probably actually released originally in the 50s, but the actual album that I'm going to show you is a repressing from the 70s. So anyway, to start things off, we'll start off with Andy Williams here. So you might remember him best for his Christmas specials, and you know, it's the most wonderful time of the year. That's pretty much his signature song there. This is in really nice shape. This is from 1959. It's in mono, hi-fi, which is basically a fancy way of saying mono. And this is a very heavy, thick, rigid vinyl. I mean, obviously I can't present that to you on camera, but, and here's the reverse of this album. But, you know, it was common in the 50s for records to have that sort of, almost like a 78 feel to it. You know, as opposed to the later ones when you were getting those really like Dynaflex RCAs from the early 70s that you could almost like roll into a tube. But anyway, pretty good album. If you like, you know, this era of male crooners, you'll enjoy this album. So next up, as you can see here, made this pretty easy. It's Tom Jones. Now, I used to kind of make fun of Tom Jones. I kind of thought he was, you know, just like a lounge lizard kind of singer. But I've since acquired 2, maybe 3 of his 60s albums. This one's from 1965 and it is in stereo. But I think this is either his first or his second album. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes using the online information. But it is from 1965. And he is actually a really good singer. I enjoyed like every song on this album. Here's the reverse. But I just can't help but, it's not unusual, I just can't help but think of Carlton dancing on the Fresh Prince every time I hear that song. Really, really good album, good artist. Highly recommend. Next up, one of my favorites, not the album, the singer, Nat King Cole. Now, this release is from 1967. It's basically a reissue of a Capitol album. I'm not exactly sure what year or when it was released on Capitol, but it's noted all over the album and the jacket that it was previously released on Capitol Records. But this is on Pickwick, which was like kind of like the stuff, you know, you'd probably pick up at like Woolworth's or Kmart or something like that in the day. It was like a budget label. But Nat King Cole, he's great. I've always loved his voice. Every time I see an album by him, you know, I pick it up. So far, I've been lucky and haven't bought duplicates, but I mean, I'm sure that I have duplicates of songs, you know, because there's so many different albums they put out for Nat King Cole. But anyway, this one's a pretty good one. Recommend it. So next up, this is also from 1967. This, I believe, is his first album. Again, going on information I'm finding online, so I really don't know for sure, but I'm about 90% sure it's his first album. It's on Parrot Records, and it is in stereo. And you probably recognize the Release Me, you know, that's one of his biggest hits. Let me show you the reverse here. So, again, another really good male vocalist. Little fun fact, in case you didn't know, that's not his real name. His real name is Arnold Dorsey, although I don't know how Engelbert Humperdinck is much better. But he was also born in India, believe it or not. But good album. Next up, this one's still got the shrink wrap on it. I mean, it's open, but it's got the shrink wrap, which also makes it a little more difficult to film because you can see the reflection. But anyway, this is Gordon Lightfoot. Title, If You Could Read My Mind. Now, interesting thing about this is from 1970. Now, it was originally issued as Sit Down Young Stranger. And that is the first song on side 2 of this album. But If You Could Read My Mind became a big hit, so they reprinted the covers, jackets for it, and changed the name of the album to If You Could Read My Mind. Quite a few different pressings of this, but again, not sure which pressing this is, but it's not the first pressing, I know that for sure. But again, Gordon Lightfoot, I've got quite a few albums by him. Pretty good male vocalist. Now, I don't know how you can go wrong with Elvis. The King. There's not much more you can say about him. I mean, Elvis is one of a kind, was one of a kind. Well, some people say he may still be alive. But anyway, this is a religious, inspirational, whatever you want to call it, release. And this is on the Camden, what I was talking about down here, if you could see. It says Dynaflex. That's that real thin vinyl that RCA was reissuing a lot of albums on in the early 70s. I mean, first issues too, not just reissues. But I think this may be a first issue. I'm not 100% sure. This is mono. It's from 1971. Again, it's RCA, but it's their Camden label. Now, I don't know if you realize Camden is where RCA originated when they were first. Their first incarnation was actually the Victor Talking Machine Company. And that was based in Camden, New Jersey. And they in turn became RCA Victor, I believe in the 20s. And then we got another Elvis one here, again on Camden Dynaflex. This is in stereo though, and this is from 1972, and I believe this might also be a first issue. Again, don't slay me if I'm mistaken, but it's really hard to tell. But here's the reverse. This album was kind of, didn't have a whole lot of great songs on it. It's hits from his movies, but it's Elvis. So, I mean, Elvis is Elvis. If you like Elvis, you're going to pretty much like Elvis doing anything. He could sing your mom's recipe book and he'd still be Elvis. And the last one, Bing Crosby. This is called Crosby Classics. It's on Columbia. And it says, it's a Columbia limited edition special re-release. Now, I could not figure out what year this was released. The original of this album was released on a label called Harmony in 1958. And I'm assuming that it's basically the same master, but now they've packaged it in this bargain format here. This Columbia re-release. I'm guessing it's probably from the mid to late 70s. Perhaps, and I'm just like really going out on a limb here, maybe it was released after he died, although it doesn't say anything on the back to that effect. You know, a lot of times they would do things like that, like, you know, when Elvis died, they re-released a whole bunch of his records. And so this may be from, you know, around 1977, 78, but I'm kind of getting the impression from this Columbia logo up here that it may be earlier than that. It's just, I really have no idea. But anyway, it's actually a pretty good album. He was a great singer too. So I'd highly recommend this one as well. And that pretty much does it for our male vocalists video today. I hope you enjoyed that. And we'll give you one last look. Bing Crosby died in 1977. Elvis died in 1977. Gordon Lightfoot is still alive. Engelbert Humperdinck is still alive. Nat King Cole died in 1965. Tom Jones, of course, is still alive. And Andy Williams, unfortunately, he passed in 2012. So thank you for watching. I hope you'll continue to watch my videos, and see you later.
Please release me.